Alright, welcome to the Subject Matter Arbitrary, where subject matters are as arbitrary as the opinions presented. Let's get to. Please note that the attention I'm giving this person in this analysis comes from a place of curiosity as opposed to any malice. The individual in question fascinates me. That being said, anything provided to the public eye has been signed up for scrutiny. It's the name of the game. This is Ryan. Despite the fact that Ryan barely leaves his chair during the entirety of his episode, this is actually the episode of my 600-pound life I've seen the highest amount of times. Why on earth would I be so fascinated by someone's non-actions? I realize Ryan is not all too different from other participants of the show. They share the same addiction and have similar issues. My fascination stems from the following. Ryan makes no progress to the point that the scale won't even weigh him. Despite this fact, he may be the participant in this show who talks himself up the most, makes the most promises, and is the furthest away from any progress, save for perhaps James K. He may also be the whiniest participant. Ryan seems to be completely unable to face up to any challenge in his life, but refuses to face this reality and goes straight in the opposite direction. Everything is super hard in his world, and eating chicken and veggies is unfathomably hard. He even has the audacity to tell Dr. Now, "My life is a lot harder than you'd understand." This implies 1. That Dr. Now has a limited understanding of reality. He does not. 2. That the types of difficulties faced by Ryan cannot really be explained. And 3, that they are somehow remarkable compared to other people's problems. We have to assume that Ryan is gaining or maintaining weight, considering how he can't be weighed by a scale that measures up to 660 pounds. This means that not only is he lying about his lifestyle, but the discrepancy between what he claims to eat and what he actually does must be incredibly massive. He wouldn't be the only one on this show to do so, but he sort of just takes the cake. He's not hiding one cheat meal from us, he's hiding tons. Dr. Now could calculate how many calories would be needed in order to maintain or gain at Ryan's weight. I can't, but I know we're talking thousands of calories per day that he's hiding and lying about. The abyss between Ryan's reality and real reality is the largest I think I've ever seen. What exactly is going on here, below the surface? How can anybody simultaneously act this hopelessly and meanwhile make themselves out to be so amazing? Let's deep dive into arguably one of the most uneventful yet puzzling episodes of my 600-pound life. Let's capture all the nuances of Ryan and his situation. As commenters have pointed out, this food addict, former drug addict, likely is displaying behaviors that stems from a typical addict mentality. He mentions that food makes him not think about the drugs. He calls it mind-numbing. A complete replacement of one drug for another thusly appears to have been made. The delusions and denials displayed may possibly be found in other addicts. Still, though that may explain most of it, it plays out in a fascinating way, where other food addicts on the show do not appear to reach the same level of delusion and lack of accountability. No one else I've seen on this show lies as confidently as Ryan. To some extent, that appears to be evidence that this man believes his own lies. It is difficult, though, to say exactly what he truly believes for himself and what is just blatant lying. The way Ryan views his own backstory will also be held up for scrutiny here. I realize everybody's different and will react differently to hardships. However, nothing in Ryan's life sticks out as a particularly traumatic event to the point of deviation from your average person's life, save for potentially the drug use. Ryan says he drank more than any parent knew. Well, I have some thoughts on that. Everyone I've known on planet Earth have done that. He points out that he did not receive the player role he wanted while on his school's football team. This, according to him, mentally destroyed him. This is not a hardship, it's just you not getting everything you wanted since you didn't earn it. This shows an alarming lack of perspective to a yet again baffling extent. All my efforts here are essentially in order to solve the riddle, why exactly did Ryan even bother to sign up for the show? What was his gain? What were his motives? While this question cannot be answered 100% accurately without interviewing Ryan himself, we can wager a few guesses. So, here follows a few theories. It is possible that his only goal was financial gain. The fee for participating in this show, however, appears to be quite unremarkable at reportedly $4,000. Is that enough of a motivator in and of itself? I don't know. Let me know what you think. It is also possible that Ryan wanted to lose weight but has not mentally grasped what effort means. Perhaps he thought he had the intention of losing weight. Perhaps the joke is on him and him alone. Maybe he genuinely did not try to deceive us. Maybe he is a victim of magical thinking. Maybe he believes that coming onto the show will automatically be entailed by weight loss. Another theory is that Ryan perhaps thought he could reap some benefits of celebrity, not realizing how he would come across. Perhaps he thought it would elevate his status or make potential friends and partners reach out to him out of pity. And that's all I've got. Ryan is incredibly immature. At one point in the episode, this 30-year-old man comments on how good he's doing, being able to start doing laundry. Meaning he hasn't even been doing laundry previously. Ryan will praise himself for things he isn't even doing, but thinking about doing. He's thinking of joining a gym. Of course, he never does. He does not even step outside. But a thing like that is something he takes credit for and talks up, despite being a complete non-thing. Another issue displaying his immaturity is the way he depends on his mom for moving to Houston. He considers this to be a major setback when she bails on following him. I will point out that it does not appear as if Ryan was truly intent on moving there. I know he has difficulty moving around, but that's just it. It's difficulty, not inability. Ryan definitely needs to stop thinking of everything in his life as difficult. Nobody said it better than Nike. Just do it. The issue is that he seems to, in practice, appear to equate difficult with impossible. Adults realize that the fact that something is difficult does not mean you don't have to do it. He is completely unable to be slightly uncomfortable. Like a child. He is unwilling to bear anything uncomfortable right now in order to reap profits later. I know he says otherwise, and that's the whole maddening thing of it all. As you will note, Ryan lives up to nothing. He has nothing to show for his quote-unquote efforts. He does not have a single weigh-in and never makes it to see Dr. Now. This does not deter him from claiming a bunch of stuff, but we've seen it all before. It doesn't matter what he claims. If he had been working hard, we'd see some actual evidence. As Dr. Now says, it doesn't matter what you say, the scale will tell me what I need to know. Interestingly, Ryan appears somewhat honest about his relationship with food initially. He tells us of his struggles related to food and substances, and I believe him. He is clearly struggling. The delusion appears later, correlating with his supposed, but evidently lack of, efforts losing weight. A shift in honesty happens. Ryan claims to be goal-oriented, but someone else apparently has to set the goal for him. Simultaneously, he claims to have the goals of starting a family, being independent, and becoming a firefighter. None of these goals have ever had Ryan actually move towards them. The fact that he views himself as a goal-oriented person is in essence sheer nonsense. I think he's placating everyone around him by claiming to be on board, by not resisting while being told what needs to be done. His expressed motivation is really just him telling others what he thinks we all want to hear. He claims to want and need help, but accepts none of it and expresses annoyance at his mom's healthy and kind efforts. The mom, if anyone, is goal-oriented and sticks to the plan. Apparently, at 740 pounds, Ryan knows better than the world-famous, incredibly experienced doctor. Ryan knows best that he needs cheat meals. I think he was honest when he said he doesn't know if he can give up his addiction to food, not realizing that healthy eating means not giving in to massive, absurd cravings. And non-disordered eating does not involve the type of cheat meals Ryan consumes, and what he is doing does not contribute towards making his habits sustainable. He strangely calls the correct way of doing things, the medically subscribed diet, his mom's way, as opposed to his way. He shifts blame onto his mom and does not actually study any material that he is responsible for knowing, provided by Dr. Now. I know this is not unusual for participants in my 600-pound life, and Ryan is certainly no exception. He doesn't know the diet, does not claim it, and does not even cook. Notably, his mom fries the chicken in a pan and places the vegetables in the microwave. He is that reliant on mommy, despite being able to move. Ryan accidentally reveals, not just by action, that he eats the things that are in the pantry. If he was only ordering out cheat meals, not snacking all the time from the pantry, how is throwing away the snacks not helpful to him? It is almost at the end of the episode too that this gets brought up. His mom asks him what's okay to eat according to Dr. Now. Ryan says hopefully Dr. Now will give him a list. This is the end of the episode. It's such a bizarre exchange. Ryan's imaginary 10% of cheating must in reality be, well, my guess is as good as yours. Clearly the number is high. Again, he placates his mom. I think he's very used to that as a manipulation tactic. Say one thing, do another. He places his struggles on a sort of pedestal, acting as if not eating junk food is this amazingly difficult task. It is not. Ryan doesn't need to do more of anything. He needs to do less. He needs to eat less. He's proud that he manages to do one chore. He's proud that he's not complaining. Simultaneously, he is of course complaining about everything in his narration to the viewer. Normally, these are things no adult being should even have to mention. This should be the adult default. Another thing of note is him shifting blame onto his dying friend. Apparently, consuming less calories is a task that requires him to ignore his dying friend. This makes sense to no one on planet Earth. Losing weight would enable him to be healthier, thus more able to be there for his friend. Simultaneously though, this has messed with his mentality. He is extremely proud that he rose above the challenge. What was the challenge again? Well, either it's making you backtrack or it isn't. Which one is it, Ryan? Are you just covering all bases? Again, what Ryan needs to be doing is nothing. He needs to not eat. He needs neutral yin, as Boomy from Avatar would say. Not eating would leave a lot of time that can be used talking to friends. I'm going insane here. He's driving me mad. You're listening to that insanity right now. He frames him being able to move to Houston as an accomplishment, despite it not being due to any progress made. It is offered by Dr. Now regardless of what state Ryan is in. Ryan announces that his family is proud of him. The good news, though, are completely separate from any potential progress he has made, yet he does not hesitate to utilize it as if credit belongs to him. This is a blatant example of a phenomenon that is prevalent with Ryan. Ryan does not need anything factual in order to take credit, and he takes credit at any and all opportunity to do so. He is so far removed from reality that it is genuinely difficult to think of people who compare. To further complicate the character of Ryan, I'd like to point out that he was indeed, at one point in his life, able to break free of destructive behaviors and was successfully moving towards the goal of becoming a welder. He finished all his courses and was ready to become one, but he crashed after not being able to find employment. According to Ryan, there were already too many unemployed welders on the market already. Now, after having gotten to know Ryan more closely, unfortunately I find myself in a position having to doubt what he said. It is clear, however, that after job course and after losing his second job, he sort of gave up on life. At the end of the episode, Dr. Now recaps the stories Ryan's been telling in order to avoid Dr. Now. The whole thing makes, as suspected, no sense, but you can scrutinize this for yourself. Ryan is playing games, as stated by Dr. Now. Dr. Now is unsure if Ryan ever had any intention of getting help, and if Dr. Now, this insanely experienced intelligent man, suspects that, you should too. I already said this, but in the end, the joke is ultimately on him, right? We are not suffering from Ryan's lying. He is. He is so far gone. It is sad, but Ryan has to help himself. There is no other way. Hopefully he can turn it around, and I wish him all the best. Fundamental attitude changes are clearly needed though. Carry on, Ryan. Carry on, my wayward son.